What's up, everybody, and welcome back. All right, so tonight I'm going to be discussing a film that I personally enjoy, and the name of said movie is The Cleansing Hour. So The Cleansing Hour came out in 2019, which it's really wild for me to say that was 6 years ago. But it is. So moving on from that wild fact. Came out in 2019 and it only has a runtime of an hour and 34 minutes. So it's not very long. It's kind of the perfect length for a fun little horror film. It gets an even 6 out of 10 on IMDb. I personally would give it a 7 out of a 10. I think it checks most of the boxes. Is it scary? Like, do I watch it and get scared? No. But just so we're clear, that's very, very rare for me, okay? I watch a lot of movies in general, but I watch a lot of horror films, so I don't really get scared, okay? So I'm going to read the description on IMDb, and then I will get into my personal kind of review of it. So on IMDb, it is listed under supernatural horror, drama, fantasy, horror, mystery, and thriller. Oh my. All right. So here we go. Another successful exorcism streamed online, or so it seems. Can the Exorcist producer and their team bring the ratings up? Ratings skyrocket when a real demon gets involved. Dun dun dun. All right, so this film is very limited with its cast, which works really well with this. The two main characters who have their live streaming, fake exorcism scheme thing that they do. One of them, I personally only recognized him from the TV show 911, and his name is Ryan Guzman. The other one, if you watch horror movies at all, thriller, anything like that, then you definitely should know the other guy. His name is Kyle Gallner, and he is seriously blowing up. He's kind of known as a modern day Scream King. He's been in The Passenger. He was in Smile, the beginning of Smile 2, Strange Darling. Those are just some of his more recent ones. So both of them, though, do really well, and they have been best friends from childhood. And like I said, they have this scheme now where Max is the one played by Ryan Guzman, and he is the more arrogant, chauvinistic, all those kind of ding, ding, ding things. He pretends to be a priest, obviously, who does, all these exorcisms on live streaming for all the likes and the money and stuff. They have merch. Then his best friend, Drew, which is played by Kyle Gallner, he kind of takes care of all the behind the camera aspects and everything. And he's the more business oriented, intelligent one out of them, going, hey man, why don't we do this? Or why don't we, da 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 da. And the other guy's just pretty much like, hey, I'm just trying to have sex. All right. So, get well known, get the ladies, and just have a good time. So the movie opens up to this exorcism going on, and it's all, and everything's going wild, and, your typical exorcism. And then, obviously, we yell cut. You realize the exorcism is completely fake. This is all just for show. Everybody's like, that's a wrap, and it was a great show, everybody. Woo! What a great fake exorcism. Then they go out, and they're out on the town, they're drinking, they do some absolutely terrible karaoke. Like, it's some of the worst karaoke of my life I've ever heard. Of course, he goes home, Max goes home with somebody, even though, he's supposed to be a priest, but whatever. Yeah, so the movie starts off, everything is going great, right, for Max. and for Drew, I mean, pretty much. But Drew, like I said, is much more serious. He has a girlfriend and he loves her. And he, like I said, he loves his job, but he's serious about his job. Like, hey, let's actually do these things and become, more than what we are. And, let's just stop fucking around all the time. And Max is like, no, I like fucking around. For the next show, Max has his guest in mind. It's someone that he knows. Except on the way to said show, the person that he has for it actually is attacked and killed by, like I said, the demon has their plan in play. So that person is attacked, gone. They're not obviously going to be showing up. And then one of the people that work for them is clearly like off. Drew's noticed it. Max even asks at one point, even though Max is busy looking at film that he, took of having sex with that woman. And, just loves showing everyone, hey, check out this woman I had sex with last night. So this one guy's acting super sus and doing all these, like weird kind of things and stuff like that. But they need somebody clearly for this show. They need someone to be possessed and have this exorcism done on them because they are going live. Like, this show is happening. And so Drew begs his girlfriend to step in and be the person that needs the exorcism. And she is very against it at first. She is like, no, dude, I'm not doing this. Like, da-da-da-da-da. And he begs and he begs and he begs. And finally she says, okay, of course, right? Like, we knew this was going to happen. So she says yes. Max is totally against it at first. He's like, no. And Drew's like, well, then do you want to cancel the show? Because it's either this or no show. Like, your person didn't show up. Because they don't know, obviously, why Max's person didn't show up. They don't know this. We do, though. You get to see it, but, they don't know. So, he's just like, hey, your person didn't show up. We've got a show to do. My girlfriend's willing to do it. Shut the hell up. Let's roll, like, get with the program, get into acting, like, let's do your thing. So of course he, says, of course, I guess, like, I want my show. So yeah, let's do it. So they begin, and he's very clear, to her when he walks over there, like, you just stay with the lines, make sure, right? So very quickly on, she's not staying with her lines because it becomes very clear early on that something else is going on with her. Like I said, it starts very quickly. It's one of the things that I actually like about this movie is they waste no time. It's, she gets in the chair and immediately pretty much is taken over by this demon. So Max is like, tell me your name, child, and she's all not, following, like I said, the script. And so he gets close and she ends up like headbutting him and he falls to the ground. And of course everybody is like, okay, what really is happening, And she calls over one of the guys that is just kind of, an extra worker for them. And just kind of poof, blows him up into flames. And he like I said, he's just a big ball of fire. It's on film. Everybody is seeing it. And so that is our very first, like, where they know that this person is possessed. This demon means some pretty serious business because they just lit someone on fire and killed them. So obviously as the guy is dying, and like I said, it's all being filmed and everything. But the thing is that the people that already watch this live stream, they already believe that it is real. So as the show continues, Max and stuff is like, guys, this is actually real. Like, help us. And everybody's like, well, aren't they all real? Like, aren't all your exorcisms real, goofy butt? So the more they try to actually put this man out, the more he goes up in flames. Because, like, I mean, it's a demon, and a demon is going, no, this is happening. So it doesn't matter. Dude is just... And, of course, everybody is like, everybody, you know, that's sitting at home watching from TV is all like, I just watched a dude go up in flames. That's never happened on this program before. So, right then and there, everybody is like, holy moly, we've got something for real on our hands. And that is when they try to stop things. You know, I mean, try to call 911, that's not going to work. They try to shut things down. The demon's like, no. You shut things down, you even try to stop this, I'm killing your girlfriend, things are getting serious. Like, we're not, yeah, this is happening. So you keep airing, you keep this all going on, and yeah, let's have some fun, you know? I mean, demons love to have fun, right? Like, they're just fun guys. So anyway... Now they have realized that they've got this real demon, so now they have to figure out what the demon's name is. Because if you don't know what the demon's name is, you can't actually, you know, do an exorcism. Even though they're not, they've never done a real exorcism. They're not, but, you know, they kind of have to try to figure out how to do one for real this time, right? But they don't know the demon's name, and the demon sure as the hell isn't just going to give it up. So... now we have this film where all this other wild stuff is going on, and the demon decides to have people at home decide what Max should do. Let's have some fun with this. And when the demon's like, hey, what do you want to see Maxie do? They, of course, because it's people, say some pretty gnarly things. So... the one that ends up being the tamest, apparently, is for Max to strip. And that's the one, like I said, that's what people are choosing. Some of them, you know, choose for him, obviously, to do things to the female. That's now the demon. Some, you know, have all of this. Like, you know, there's tons of ideas, all ranging from whatever to, you know, some pretty foul stuff. Because, again, human beings. So, since the least one is for him to strip, that's what he starts doing. And, of course, Drew is like, don't worry, Max. I've got you. Like, I'll make sure the camera doesn't show any, you know, certain areas. Like, da-da-da-da-da. But, again, it's a demon. And if a demon can light someone on fire, I'm pretty sure the demon can do other things, too. Like, move cameras and pan them however they want. So, yes, we start seeing, you know, Max strip and do all this stuff. He then is forced to do the hokey pokey with all these lights and everything, and glass is breaking, and the lights are, like, getting even hotter, and they're burning his skin, and, you know, he's barefoot, because, like I said, he had to strip, so... he's stripped down, doing the hokey pokey, getting burned, stepping on glass, like all this kind of stuff. And so, you know, just really good times. I mean, pretty much my normal Saturday night. You know, like, isn't this great? After the whole hokey pokey bit, obviously, you know, he cleans up his wounds, whatnot. The guy who was set ablaze, he had actually brought his niece with him that day to help. And she really hadn't been any help up until this exact moment. She's kind of been, you know, just lounging around, da-da-da-da-da. But definitely watching her uncle go up in flames kind of, you know, sparked a little something under her. And she realizes she had obviously studied... like whatever language, and she remembers a certain word that the demon had said. So she starts looking, and she sees like around the time, so they're trying to figure out, you know, this exact demon. And that's when the guy who had clearly been acting super weird, like I said, he clearly was possessed, and everybody was noticing him and noticing him acting super weird earlier on, he had hit his head and he's just been kind of gone in another room. Well, he had came to, and Drew is talking to him and gets at least some kind of like what this creature looked like, this demon looked like to him. So he goes and he starts putting in his demon database on the computer, you know, this type of to try to, again, figure out this demon. But around this time, the demon has made this guy, his name is Chris in the film, has made him see things that no one else can. And so he sees like these demon dog, human creature, weird looking things look like they're coming after him. And he has a knife. The Chris guy has this knife, and these creatures are attacking him. They don't actually exist. No one can see them other than him, but he believes they're fully real, and he believes he's being attacked. So he is like trying to stab them, but he actually is just stabbing himself to death. So he kills himself. So that's after the hokey pokey. So at this point we have two people dead, one guy up in flames, the other guy just stabs himself to death thinking he's being attacked. Max is definitely all beaten up and bruised and cut and bandaged now. Drew is just like, what the fuck? I asked my girlfriend to help out, and now she's possessed by a demon, you know. But around all of like this, especially with some of the things going on, you learn that Max and Drew had gone to Catholic school when they were young boys and were abused pretty badly. I mean, we're not talking like just, you know, getting hit with a ruler. Like this nun was horrifically abusive. And so a lot of these things that he's going through and everything is kind of bringing that back up. So we do have like flashbacks of them being abused by this nun, you know, such a godly thing to do, abuse children. But anyway, so there's that as well. And so Max is having flashbacks, and, you know, they're all trying to figure out this demon's name, and the demon, of course, is just having a heyday. They're having a blast. Just, it's so funny to them. Look at all these stupid humans. So moving on. So now we started the day, and now we are 2 people short. So what's going to happen next? I wonder. After poor Chris is dead, obviously, you know, everybody is definitely way more freaked out at this. I mean, rightfully so. And Max is just screaming at this demon, like, what do you want? Like, what, you know? And about that time, here comes a stool flying out, along with down comes some ropes all in a noose shape. And he's like, oh, you want me to kill myself? Cool. And the demon basically says, you know, she just wants him to unburden himself. So, but he tells him, just like with earlier, we'll let the audience decide. So he has to unburden himself. So he gets on the stool, he puts the noose around his neck. And as he's standing there and everybody at home is hitting the hearts, you know, because if he can be saved, if he can get enough likes, if his likes can be at 100%, then the demon won't make him kill himself. But he does have to, like I said, unburden. He has to come clean. So he's up there, he's got the noose, like I said, around his neck, and he is just coming clean about anything that he can think of in his mind. And that's when we learn, like I said, though, we had already knew that he had been like abused by this nun teacher, him and Drew. But this is when we learn that one particular day when the nun was severely abusing Drew, like bashing his head into the desk repeatedly. At one point, Max comes up and he shoves her, rightfully so. I mean, this woman is like beating a child's head into a desk. And Max comes up and he pushes her, but at the exact same time that he pushes her, a pencil happens to roll off of the desk and stabs her in the eye. Okay? And of course, you know, we learn that, you know, He had horrible nightmares and vision, obviously his whole childhood from that. And he did actually join the church. He was going to become a priest. He wanted to make amends for what he did. But the thing is he explains that the closer he got to the church, the more he's seen all of the bad stuff, all of the horrible people who were involved in the church, and was like, I can't be a part of this. This is the exact thing that I am trying to fight, what I'm against. So he leaves the church, and that is when him and his friend Drew start their kind of like fake priest exorcism show. And so that is when we kind of learn all of that. So Max is up there. He's confessing everything that he can think of. Everybody at home is, of course, liking. Most people are still heart. Like, please save Max. Oh, my goodness. But that's around the time that the demon / Lane is like, couldn't save you this time. And Max is like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to, jump off this stool and kill myself. So that is around the time that Lane, the girlfriend who the demon is inside, starts like bleeding profusely from the head, and she's tissing out and everything. And that's when Max realizes that it's either him or her. And he says, please forgive me, and he goes ahead and kicks the stool out from under him. So at that exact moment, we've got Max hanging and, tizzing out. We've got Lane still like kind of tizzing out. We've got Drew freaking out. He can't get to either one. The demon's keeping him from afar. He's screaming and everything. It's total chaos. Everybody that's watching is like, oh my God, what is going on? And then that is when, earlier in the movie, like really early in the movie, before we have, any of this going on, when we first see Drew with his girlfriend, Lane, she warns him that he is being played. And what she actually says is, you're being played, you need to pull the plug on the whole Max thing, because she's basically saying Max is using you to like get everything that he wants. He doesn't actually, consider you, your feelings, da-da-da-da-da. So while Max is still hanging there, and choking, and Lena is on she comes to long enough, and she looks at Drew and she says, you're getting played. And that's when Drew remembers their conversation from earlier on, and the next line, pull the plug. And that's when he realizes, wait a minute, this demon wants everyone watching. This demon wants the live stream going on. I mean, they've made everything about this. They've said, if you cut this live stream, if you end, I'm killing everybody, right? So clearly they want the live stream going. So when she says that, that's when he's like, oh. So he tells the demon, he's like, look, here's the deal. I'm cutting the live stream if you continue doing this. Either let them go or I'm cutting it. Clearly at first, it's not like it immediately works or whatever. However, he goes over, he pulls the plug, and within, a few seconds, because like immediately as soon as he pulls the plug, viewers start dropping off. And so after several viewers drop off, that's when Max is released. He drops down. Lane is no longer bleeding from the dome. The chair rises back up. The demon looks right at Drew and is just basically like, oh, what a clever bitch she is. Like, yeah, she gave you this idea. Okay, cool. Like, do what you want. And at that exact moment, that is when the demon says something that lets Drew know a little more, and he figures out the name of the demon. So now we actually have the name of the demon. If we have the name of the demon, maybe we can stop it. Ooh. So now that they have the name, it's time for the exorcism. However, Max is like, oh, I definitely want everyone at home to see this. Because remember, Drew had pulled the plug or whatever to save them. So it's still undone. So at first they're like, we're not plugging anything back in. You're just going to kill us anyway. But then since they have the name now, Max is like, no, I want everyone to see this. Plug it back in. To which Drew does. But the thing is, is that the demon is still looking for one more confession, and they know just the confession they are looking for. And so around that time, as Drew is starting to type in the wording that needs to be said for this exorcism on this particular demon, and he's putting that all in so that Max can read it on the screen out there, all these cords come up and end up grabbing him and wrapping him up and bringing him over. And as Max is trying to free him, that's when the demon is like, oh no, you want to save him? There's only one way. You know the confession, and so does the girl. And that's when the demon actually lets the girl come back for a moment. And that is when we learn that Max and Lane had been together before. Now, they did not cheat on Drew. Neither one did that. It was actually before Lane knew Drew. However, here's where the real issue comes into play. Earlier, as you know, I had said that Max showed Drew video of the night before with the girl that he had taken home. Well, Max likes to film, apparently, all of his encounters. And he still, not only did he film, his stuff with Lane, but he still had it. He still has it in his possession. And so, of course, finding out this news, Drew gets free. He's finally free once the confession comes out. Lane is like, it meant not like it was just it was a small thing, like it was way before you. He's fine with Lane. Lane's fine. Again, the big issue with Max is that you filmed it and you still have it. You still clearly, of course, Max is like, I totally don't know. I didn't know I had it. I totally forgot. I don't know why I still have this. Like, dude, how about just not filming people when you're having sex with them? You know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. But so Drew's free, right? He goes over to Max. He's just whooping his ass. He's like, I've always treated you like a brother. And Max is like, it's doing this on purpose. It wants to split us apart. And Drew's like, I like the way it thinks. But thankfully, finally, Drew's like, okay, maybe I should stop whooping on you long enough to deal with this demon who's in my, soon-to-be wife, Lane. So now Max and Drew are taking turns because, it's obviously doing things to Max when Max is talking, and then Drew takes over, and then Max, and they're going back and forth, and they think they've got it because they finally do this exorcism, and the demon does release out of Lane, and they're all like, sitting there all like, oh my God, and this demon comes popping up, and it's this huge, ginormous demon that just comes busting out. And they're all like, right? Because, that's fair. I think if a demon all of a sudden just comes out with big fiery eyes and it's like, you probably would be like, whoa, So while they're doing all the whoa, the demon throws one of them, goes over, grabs all the cords, just looks right on into the screen, big fiery eyeballs looking right on into the screen. And then everyone that's been watching, all the people that have been watching all night long, are possessed. That's right. And so you get to finally see all the people that have been watching. You've been watching them watch all night long, and now they are possessed, and they start killing anyone that is around them. Boom, boom, boom. And that's right. That's how the movie ends, with the demon totally free. They got exactly everything that they wanted for the night. They got to do total chaos. They got to do possessions. They got Max to come out and say every single thing they wanted him to say. And now they are out in the world, out into as many people as possible, causing chaos and havoc and death and destruction and rah, 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 rah. And then it ends. And it's a fantastic film. All right, so if you have already watched The Cleansing Hour, let me know. If you have not watched The Cleansing Hour, go and watch it. It's on AMC Plus, Shudder, I'm sure other things too, but that's where I watch it. And definitely check it out and then let me know. But no matter what, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble. It just means so much to me. Makes my little heart just so warm. All right, so you go and have a fabulous weekend. I'm going to go do the same. And let me know the next movie you'd love to hear my review on. Bye, everybody.